Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Norton Admissions with me, your host, James. And today, I will be interviewing one of our admission mentors, Mike from Oxford University, who will tell us a bit more about what it takes to gain admission into prestigious universities in the UK. So, Mike, what are you studying at Oxford University?
I'm currently studying physics at Oxford University, and I've just completed my first year.
Okay, how's it going?
I'd say it's going pretty well. I'm getting used to their style of learning, so comprising lectures, tutorials, and problem sets. And it's very self-initiated, independent learning, something I'm getting used to, but that applies for most universities. So it's a general tip for everyone that when you're moving to university, you have to expect how to find resources on your own, and there might be also less accessible content because, well, it's more advanced knowledge. It's going to be more difficult to find resources.
Yeah, so maybe not so easy online. And
yeah,
that sort of stuff.
not so much online, mostly books.
Okay, cool. So, what did you find the most difficult aspect when it came to your university application? What was the hardest part for you personally?
I'd say the most difficult part would be interview, because that's a stage where you have the least control on.
Okay.
So the admissions process to Oxbridge would involve the personal statement, most likely an admission test or admission test, and then you'd have the interview. And you have full control on your personal statement. You can make that very good, make that as good as possible. But you can also familiarize yourself with the admissions test content. But for the interview, it's much more difficult to expect what might pop out, because different tutors, they would like to test applicants on different things, and they might also more be thinking kind of questions that require you to think, and not as knowledge based.
Okay, alright, I see. Okay, so I guess in that sense then someone would have to learn different lateral thinking concepts and then apply it to different situations, right? So I think, well, I know that for Oxbridge you have specific interview questions which are designed to kind of make the applicant feel a bit, oh, how do I answer this? Is that as straightforward as it seems? Do you remember what your interview question was? Yeah,
I had some. Well, I didn't get the stereotypical, really difficult questions, and because for physics mainly, I think they do give you questions that are mainly subject related. So you need to familiarize yourself with your A levels or IB content, of course. But they would give you questions that build on top of knowledge. They want you to think in depth and reflect critically on these concepts. They weren't difficult questions. They're graph sketching questions and questions on electric charges. But they want to see your process of thinking. And I think when they do ask you stereotypically crazy questions like how many grains of sand are there in the world, usually they begin with an easier or more straightforward question, and they lead to that gradually. So it won't actually give you that much shock when it comes to you during the interview. Okay. And your tutors will also help you a lot during that. You can ask your tutors questions. Okay, cool.
So what was the easiest part of the university application for you personally?
Yeah, I'd say it would be the personal statement. So my advice for that would be to look at a lot of examples online. I looked at a lot of examples online on how to get the right structure, and I looked at feedback. I also got as many people to look over my personal statement as possible, my teachers, my friends, my parents. It's really the part that you have the most control on in the entire application process. So make sure you perfect that, and that's how you would secure an interview invitation.
Okay, cool. So for physics, there's an aptitude test, right?
Yes.
How did you find that? Do you have any tips for the aptitude test for physics?
I found the aptitude test quite challenging, and it's also quite different from other tests. So currently it's a non-calculator test, but they still require you to calculate digits like fractions or even and other rational numbers to certain significant figures. So you will have to go back to the basics and familiarize yourself with how to multiply and then divide and get decimal numbers, decimals. And in terms of content, it would be advantageous to familiarize yourself with content that's slightly above A levels or IB, because they do ask some things that are not taught in there, and it'll be great to complete all the past papers and look at their syllabus.
Okay. So Mike, what part of your application process were you most confident with?
Okay, I would say the part where I'm most confident with would be the personal statement, because that is the part that you have the most control over. Unlike the admissions test or the interview, you would be able to it would be more difficult to expect what might come out in the test or in the interview. For the personal statement, it's something you do at home and you finalize and have many edits before you submit it. And my tip for the personal statement is that you look at plenty of online examples, look at what people online the comments that people from online have given to existing personal statements, and especially successful personal statements. So personal statements that have gotten the applicants to Oxford or Cambridge.
And that concludes episode 1 of the Norton House Admissions. Thank you to Mike, one of our admission mentors, for sharing his personal tips and insider views on what it takes for you to get into Oxford University, with a particular emphasis on physics. See you next time.